Welcome to our YouTube channel, Era Edges. What if the most beautiful places in Mexico were hiding dark secrets? You've seen the pyramids, the statues, the shining buildings. But what if they could talk? What would they tell you? Would they tell you the truth? Or the parts history wants you to forget? From ancient cities to golden angels, every crack has a story. And once you hear them, add more in these topics one by one. You won't forget them. Chichen Itza, the pyramid that heard screams. Yucatan, Mexico. You've seen photos of Chichen Itza, but did you know it once echoed with screams? This was more than a temple. It was a place of sacrifice. Blood ran down these very steps. People were pushed from the top, while crowds below watched. Some begged for mercy, others accepted their fate. And the gods? They stayed silent. It wasn't just falling from the edge. Hearts were cut out while still beating. The priests held them high, so the sun could see the offering. Would you stand at the top, knowing hundreds were sent to their death where you now stand? Even stranger, if you clap your hands at the base of the pyramid, the echo sounds like a bird. But the Maya believed it wasn't a bird. It was the voice of Kukulkan, the feathered serpent god. Some say those echoes aren't claps at all. They're screams, bouncing through time. Would you climb those stairs alone and listen to what they have to say? Monument to the Revolution, a grave in disguise. Mexico City. You walk past it like it's just a giant arch, a beautiful piece of history. But do you know who's buried inside it? This is more than a symbol. It's a tomb. Beneath the stone and metal lie the remains of Mexico's most powerful figures, revolutionary leaders, fighters, traitors, heroes. Some remembered with glory, others buried in silence. Would you smile under a monument if you knew what lay beneath your feet? Francisco Pancho Villa, Venustiano Carranza, Plutarco Elias Calles, names carved in history, but they were not all friends. Some hated each other in life, and now they rest side by side. People say at night, when the city grows quiet, you can feel the weight of their unfinished stories. Some swear they've seen shadows moving across the monument, long after the lights go out. What if they still had something to say? What if the revolution isn't over, and they're still waiting for someone to listen? Would you stand there, alone in the dark? Palacio de Bellas Artes, the stage that survived war. Mexico City. People visit Bellas Artes for its beauty. Marble walls, golden lights, a place where art lives forever. But long ago, during war, it nearly died. The music stopped, the curtains fell. Gunfire echoed where violins once played. Dancers hid behind the stage. Some never came out. Would you dance on a stage that once shook with fear? When the fighting ended, the building stood, but it was never the same. Beneath the polished floors are marks, scars of bullets, cracks of time. Most people don't see them, but they're there, if you know where to look. They say at night, when the theater is empty, you can hear faint steps on the stage, not from the living, but from those who never got to finish their final performance. And if you were there alone, would you hear music in the silence, or whispers from the past? Tulum, the city that watched the sea burn. Tulum, Mexico. Tulum stood high, carved into the cliffs, watching the endless sea. It was a city of beauty, power, and secrets. For years, the Maya believed the sea would protect them. But one day, the sea brought war. They saw strange ships on the horizon, huge, silent, deadly. The sky darkened with smoke as the invaders came closer. Can you imagine standing on those walls, watching your home fall while no one came to help? The sea burned. Flames reflected on the waves. Screams mixed with the sound of crashing surf. The Maya fought until the very end. They didn't run, they didn't beg, they stood. Even as the last warrior fell, They stared out at the sea, as if waiting for the gods to answer. Now the ruins are quiet. Tourists walk where soldiers once bled. But some say, if you listen closely, you can hear drums and war cries in the wind. Would you stand on those same cliffs at night and face the sea that once brought death, the angel that saw it all? Mexico City, angel of independence. She stands tall, gold and bright, but her eyes have seen pain. She saw revolutions erupt in the streets. She watched heroes rise in glory and others fall into silence. She felt the ground shake as earthquakes ripped through the city, tearing apart what people thought was unbreakable. She heard the cries of the wounded, the desperate, the hopeful. Yet through it all, she never moved. She stood. If the angel could speak, what would she tell us? Would she whisper, "Keep fighting, keep building, don't forget why I'm here"? Or would she warn us of the cost of freedom, the weight of the sacrifices buried beneath her feet? Do you stand for something like she does? Would you hold your ground even when the world around you falls apart? Or are you just watching from below? These places aren't just landmarks, they're witnesses. They saw what we forgot. They still carry the weight of the past. So ask yourself, next time you see a monument, will you see stone or a story? If you want to uncover more stories like these, like, share, and subscribe to Era Edges, because history is never really silent.